that already have the spirit of volunteerism, because disaster management can never be budgeted enough. You can never have enough resources. Even the most advanced economies in the US, in Japan, in Britain, which is really the benchmark for firefighting, you cannot have enough firefighters. You can never have enough disaster managers. When you go to the US, 80% of the disaster management response units are volunteers. People that are called upon as and when they need to. You do not need to have a standing army of fighters, because disaster management is actually something that starts with ourselves, right? We need a community that is empowered, that is aware, and the reason I'm keen on us having this discussion, even just progressing it, is to see how can we, as a sector or as a county government, have structured partnerships with organizations such as Rotary, who are already engaging with the public. You guys did a tremendous job during the COVID, isn't it? I know you sponsored a lot of washing points, particularly in the low-income areas. You provided resources by PPEs for frontline workers, and so on and so forth. Things, a mandate that is supposed to be ours, but you can never have enough resources. So I think for me it's an opportunity for us to really synergize and create structured partnerships. I keep on joking and telling my colleagues at work that as a county, when you see private sector thriving on a utility or an essential service, it's failure of government. So when you have the Red Cross being celebrated as the premier disaster management agency, then it means it's failure. When you see a private water companies being, providing water instead of government, it's a failure of government. So that's the case of power. The rise of disorder in matatu industry is because we failed as a government in providing reliable public transport. And I think most of you have traveled. You've seen that in all developed economies, essential services are provided by government. So I have been pushing my department and my people that we must eclipse the Red Cross. It does not make sense for the government, for the president, and I'm saying this with a lot of respect to the Red Cross, hoping that none of you know the payslip from them, and is going to say that kuna jamaa anatupiga vita. But it does not make sense for the government, the president, to take 200 to go and open a building constructed using money and give them an additional 200 million. That money, he was given that money, given the vision that we have and the partnerships you establish, will do much, much more. I know you have your own programs, and again, you're a volunteer, you rely on donations, contributions, volunteers. So if we're able to create one big pot, and as a department, we say that you're going to work with the Rotary because you have a very structured program working with the Kuru or one of the groups, and you're the channel, you become a frontline workers. When there's a disaster, you were able to mobilize the community, because one of the strategies we have in disaster risk reduction is to create community disaster response teams that become the first line of defense. 90% of the damage of the losses within human being are because of poor response, initial response by the community. But if they were properly sensitized, properly mobilized, you're able to say that if these sharks zimeshika moto, for us to prevent this is to create a fire break. Let us destroy this building here because this will contain the spread. If that kind of sort of ecosystem and knowledge is possible in this, then I think as a department